Mike Pereira here on the Rich Eisen Show. And it's more than just pass interference, though, Mike. You've got all the holding penalties that happened through the first 3 weeks, and Tom Brady even tweeted out about how difficult it was to watch. He was turning the game off this past week. 6 straight snaps of the football had a flag. Jim Nantz said what I'm sure many fans said, and he said it into his microphone, that nobody wants this. So what is to be done? What can be done?
Well, first of all, let me just say about Jim Nantz's thing. I get that nobody wants to see 6 penalties, but if you look at those 6 penalties, they're all penalties. So are you supposed to say, okay, we called 2 in a row, let's not call anything now for a couple of plays? I mean, I don't get that argument. I really don't. When they all are in fact penalties. But I said this, Rich, and I'll say it to you, and then I'm going to leave it alone. People have asked me, and it's a hard question for me, do you think officiating is better, worse, or the same now from my time when I was there? And that's a question that I struggle with. But in the end, my decision is I think the officials from top to bottom are better now than they were back at my time from top to bottom. But the officiating is not as good.
Why?
And so then that question has become why. And I think that's because technology has sneaked its way so far into the game that we've got officials with their earphones directed to the replay booth, to each other, to New York. There's too much going on, and there's too much reliance on what the replay official could say, what New York to say. And I think it's taken, a lot of the responsibility of officiating off the officials' back, and I think that's hurt them. I think it has hurt them. In my day, if you had a pass interference that occurred at the 32-yard line, you threw your flag from 20 yards away, you got it as close as you could to the 32. And then after the play was over, you went and you moved it 5 yards to put it at the 32. Nowadays, you throw it, and then the replay official tells you, move the flag to the 32. I mean, it's like to me, the officials are not responsible enough for the game, and officiating has snuck its way into the replay booth and snuck its way into the Art McNally Command Center in New York, and I think overall it has hurt officiating.
So then what's the fix? I mean, what happened? I mean, as you point out, Al Riveron is down with the owners at an owners meeting, and I'm sure they're all getting around. Jerry Jones had it brought up to him on his radio show today. Everybody's talking about it. That's what everybody's talking about. Not talking about what a great game this was or that was. We're talking about the officiating still. So what happens? What can be done as a fix for the rest of this season, Mike?
Well, I mean, I think that's the million-dollar question. I'm not Houdini. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think they've taken steps in their new agreement to saying they're going to hire a VP in training and development. But I think that the most important thing, and I know this, you could make the change on pass interference. I think you could do that, and I think they may because they don't want the Super Bowl to be decided by some decision like that. But I think you got to try to quit officiating with Band-Aids. I mean, fix officiating with Band-Aids, and I did it. The structure at this point doesn't work. So what structure does work? I mean, and does the eye in the sky, as bizarre as it seems, will it be helpful and more consistent and get things done in a timely basis? I think it would. But that's really a radical change to add an 8th official in his uniform sitting in a booth with a quick look at a replay, and then just like he's a part of the crew, just says to the referee, hey, the hit on Allison, that's not a foul. It's not a foul. Say, hey, Cleat, that's not a foul. The defender was going for the ball. He's equally defenseless, and so therefore there's no intent. Pick up the flag. Sorry, it's horrible injury that it was knocked out momentarily, but real-time decisions like that with an 8th official that can correct some things and put a time frame on it. Hands to the face. Hey, Cleat, saw that? It actually was at the collar, not the neck. Pick it up. They do that on the field. I mean, they do it on the field. One official comes to another. Call one official in Kansas City who just got beat by Houston. One official throws a flag for defensive pass interference. Another official comes over and says to him, hey, you called pass interference, but that pass wasn't catchable. So then they picked up the flag because that's just one official with a different angle and a different viewpoint that comes in and corrects something on the field, and that's what the eighth official would do from a skybox. To me, that's a major step, but that's a change in structure, and I think that's what they have to look at in the off season.
For more of the Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.